One of the number one reasons why women struggle with dating and relationships today is that they choose men who are not ready for anything real. Ladies, there are lots of great relationship-ready men out here. However, you need to learn how to choose them. I wrote this book to teach you how to do just that. Get your copy of Choose Well, a simple formula to determine the best man for you on Amazon today.
Then the last article we'll be discussing today is by Petronella Wyatt, titled "Feminism Has Left Middle-Aged Women Like Me Single, Childless and Depressed." Within her article, Wyatt argues that feminism failed women within her generation because it taught them to prioritize their careers above all else, and in the process it's left them single and childless in their 50s. She describes growing up in a privileged background during the Thatcher era, and she remembers a time when she was in private school when Margaret Thatcher came and spoke to her when she was 13. And what she was told by Margaret Thatcher was that her career superseded any relationship she'll ever have with the opposite sex. At school, she remembers regularly being discouraged from pursuing traditional pursuits, as she would often hear things like, "Paulinas don't cook, they think." Again, Wyatt is not completely against feminism. She acknowledges the many successes and the necessary things that feminism did in the past, such as allowing women to have financial freedom, as well as also giving them the opportunity to access education and the workforce. However, she feels as though as modern Western cultures have evolved and changed, feminism also needs to evolve and change, because she does feel as though our current culture, in the way that it is now, has actually outgrown the old traditional feminist goals. And so she thinks that it's time for it to have a rethink and for it to adapt. A central part of her argument within her article is that middle-aged, single, childless women in her generation are deeply lonely. She cites a US medical study that identified loneliness as a leading cause of depression amongst middle-aged women. She also shares her own experience and how she's also struggled very much with depression, and how one time it was so bad she had to be hospitalized after some friends raised some concerns because she had impulses of very dark thoughts, and she had confided in a nurse that she had contemplated taking her own life. And she strongly links her depression to the fact that she was living a very solitary existence. And this isn't really uncommon, because I saw a documentary called The Birth Gap, and they were talking about how there's like a generation of older women in Japan who never had children, and the effects that loneliness actually has on them. And so I do think we really do underestimate how difficult loneliness actually is, because we're so young. You know, when you're young, you know, your parents are still around, you still have friends who probably don't all have children yet, so their time is not really super occupied with family and obligations, etc. And, you know, you've got so many people around you, you've got your own community, so the loneliness is not really something you can comprehend when you're younger. But when you're older, that's really when I think a lot of people really feel it, and I don't think anything can really prepare you for it. Within Wyatt's article, she states, quote, "Much of my depression sprung from a solitary existence that would be eschewed by a race of alley cats. I do not know one single woman of my generation who lives such a life and actually likes it." She also discusses how her peers were taught to behave and think like men, something that she now describes as a fundamental mistake. Feminism made the error of telling us to behave and think like men. This error was a grave one. Women like myself are paying for it, like gamblers in a casino that has been fixed. She warns that the stakes for women are higher. In her view, living a single life involves more risk and higher potential loss than if one had followed a more traditional path. Ultimately, Wyatt argues for a cultural reset. She implies that feminism, or at least the dominant version that she was exposed to, needs rethinking to avoid repeating what she sees as damaging outcomes for future generations. And although she believes that it may be too late for herself and her peers, she doesn't think it's too late yet for younger women, which is the reason why she wrote this article. I do really think that this is a really interesting as well as an important conversation for the reasons I said at the beginning of this video. I think that if you are someone who wants to have a family, then it is important to consider these things and to also learn from the people who have lived a longer life than you, have tried out these theories and put them into practice, and seeing what their outcomes actually look like, so you can decide for yourself if that's something that you would be okay with. I also have a lot of respect for these women because it takes a lot to publicly admit that you were wrong and to publicly discuss your regrets. Most people don't feel comfortable doing that, and I'm sure that they must have known that they were going to receive some backlash, and some of them did receive some backlash for what they wrote in their articles. Yet I'm sure they knew that was going to happen, yet they still did it anyway, because to them it was more important to get this message out and to try and communicate this with younger women than to just carry on and, you know, save face and pretend that everything is fine when quite clearly it's not. And so I do think there is a lot of kindness in what they've chosen to do by sharing their stories.
All right, good afternoon. It's almost afternoon. It's 11:55. And this is the wake-up call. This is the wake-up call. And I'm making this video specifically for younger women, but if I'm being honest, I would say this is the wake-up call for all women. Like, regardless of your age, I think women have got to be more intentional, and they've got to get clear about what it is they really want. Because if I'm being honest, I don't think women know what they want. I don't. I think most women are incredibly indecisive. They don't know what they want. And this is the biggest piece of all. You ready? The biggest piece of all is women don't understand that life is about trade-offs. You all either don't know what you want or you want it all. And that is not realistic. Okay? That isn't going to happen. And I don't know why we have to keep saying this over and over and over again. You are not going to have it all at the same time. You will have periods or seasons or glimpses of the things you want. So I went through a season of being married. I am not married anymore. That was a season in my life. Okay? I went through a very long season of parenting my children. Now my children are adults. That parenting season is over. I went through a season of getting my education. And that season is now over. People ask me all the time, will you go back to school? Will you get any more education? And the answer is no. That season is done. What I have to do to maintain my professional license is I have to do CEUs. So these classes or courses to get continuing education credit. That's what I have to do to maintain my professional license. So in the month of December, I will get certified in either internal family systems, or I'm actually trying to decide acceptance and commitment therapy. I'll get a certification in that because getting that certification will cover my CEUs for the year. But no, that part of my life is over. I do not plan on going back and getting any more education. Why? And here is the reality. So this is for the younger women. You have been sold this lie that if you go off to school and you get all of this higher education, that number one, it's somehow going to provide you with this fabulous high-paying career and this fabulous life. And can we be honest? Many of you don't have that. Many of you do not have a fabulous career or a high-paying career. Many of you can't even pay your student loan debt. You can barely survive. You can barely pay the rent on your apartment. You don't own homes. So what is all this education for? I have a colleague right now, y'all. I found out, so at the top of the year, she kept talking about how bad dating was and how she couldn't find a man and blah. And she threw out there at the beginning of the year, you know, I just need to go back and get my doctorate. I just need to go back and get my doctorate degree. I need to focus on myself. I need to get my doctorate. And so guess what? That's what she's in the process of doing. Because she was disappointed by dating and disappointed by men. And so her solution is to go off and get more education. Let me tell y'all a very harsh truth that a lot of you are not going to want to hear and a lot of you are not going to like. The harsh truth is this. The more and more and more education you get, the least likely you are to be married and have children. And a lot of you all feel a way about that because you're just like, well, dang, so we got to dumb ourselves down. We have to dim our light. Let me help you to understand why that is. It is not because, you're not a perfectly lovely woman. It is not because you're not an attractive woman. It's because once you get all that education, you now start feeling a way about yourself. You now start believing that a man who doesn't have equal or more education than you, that he's less than you, that he's not good enough. You hear it all the time. Women listing off their accomplishments and listing off their degrees as reasons why men should marry you. They don't care. Okay? What women want from men is not what men want from women. How many times do we have to say this? And yes, you may entitle me queen of the pick-me's. I'm going to actually make a meme about that. I am queen of the pick-me's. I am queen of the men-centered, male-centered women. I have officially adorned myself with that title. Okay? And I can have a whole conversation with you about that, but that's not what this video is for. The reality is that women, by nature, we define true success in life by our relationships, by the things that truly give our lives meaning. And that usually is not our work. That usually is not our education. It's usually the fact that we have a best friend, we have a group of girlfriends, we have a significant other that we love and who cherishes us and respects us. We have wonderful children that we pour into every day. That is a measure of success. That's why I keep telling you all, yes, I feel successful. I feel incredibly successful. And I've had a measure of professional success. I have education. I've written books. I've been on the Oprah Winfrey Show. I have a measure of success that isn't about my family, my children, my marriage. But, okay, so? So what? At the end of the day, that stuff is called so what? It's what I do. It's not who I am. And that's what modern day women, you all have lost the plot. Who are you? Who are you? What is the energy? What is the emotion and the feeling that people feel when you're in their life? Who are you? Not just what you do. Because I hate to break it to you, yeah, I love to cook. I love to garden. I love to work out in the yard. My dog is in the back. We just came from the dog park. Like, I love to do a whole lot of things. And I do a whole lot of things for people. But it's really who I am to the people in my life. That's the differentiation between me and paying someone to do what I do. It is me. I bring me to the situation. I bring my energy. I bring my intellect. I bring these different things that make people feel seen and heard and appreciated. And see, it's that. Because you can pay people to do what I do, but it will never be me. And that's what I want women to start focusing more on, is how do you make people feel? How do you make people feel about themselves? Now that's game changing. That's game changing. When people leave your presence and they talk about you, they talk about how good they feel when they're with you, they talk about your warmth, they talk about, that's the game changer. Because again, anyone can do what I do, right? The doing is not hard, it's the being. That's what modern day women they cannot figure that out. Well, what is it about Anita? What is it about Anita? It's not a doing, it's a being. And that's something you'd have to really reflect on. But this is it. Like, these articles that are being written by these older women, and these women are older than me. You got women in their, late 50s, early to mid 60s. Like I said, I applaud them. I applaud them for telling the truth. And notice how all of these articles that are written by women, they're white women. Because ain't no black woman, can I be honest? I'm going to be honest on here today. Ain't no black woman
going to humble herself in her 50s to say, ooh, I effed up. Like, ooh, I messed up. I think I made a mistake. It ain't many black women that's going to do that. They not going to do that. They going to, look, they will die on the hill of feminism, and we don't need no man, and we're strong, independent black. They will die on that hill. And you know what I've come to realize after being in this space? This makes year 6, y'all. 6 years I've been in this space. One thing I had to come to terms with, and I had some male content creators kind of pull my coattail to this. They were like, Anita, you ain't gonna save everybody. And there was a day where I was pondering, I was contemplating, like, I think they right. Like, I think they right. I think I need to accept that I'm not going to save most of these women. Most of these women are going down with the ship. And yet, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I do believe that I will save some. I do believe that some will hear this message. They will wake up. They will say, okay, Anita's, she's a logical, rational person, and she's telling me I'm going to have to decide what is the most important, what is the least important. And I'm going to have to make life decisions based on that. Like, what's most important, what's the least important. Because everything's important. You notice how, and this is interesting, you notice how when you ask a woman, and very specifically a black woman, A or B, right? A or B. Well, I want both. I take both. Like they refuse. They refuse to make a decision. They refuse to make a choice between A and B. It's like pathological. Like, it's pathological, but that's why they find themselves in the predicament that they do. And you have the people who won't choose A or B. Then you have the people who won't choose at all. There's a large percentage of women now that they just won't choose, and that's how they're going to lose. So you not choosing is how you're going to lose in the end. You refuse to make a choice about this path or this path. You said, well, I won't choose any. I'll put it off. And then at 40, you don't even have those two choices anymore. In my 20s, I had multiple paths I could have went down. I could have went down the industry path with my music and I could have went down that creative artist industry path. I could have married younger than I did. I had that path. I had people who were senators' sons, doctors, lawyers' sons, people who went to Howard, people who went to top-notch schools. Top-notch schools now. Morehouse, okay? I had, and I married someone who went to Morehouse Medical School. So I had opportunities. I had the career path, right? And this, I don't need no man. I'm a strong, independent black woman. I had that path. That wasn't even a thought in my head. I had plenty of girlfriends going down that path. I was like, I'm good. I'm good. And they would be inviting me to their little meetings and all this crap and doing this whole, girl power. And I was like, no, I'm good. And back then, look, it was women starting businesses when we were in our 20s. I knew that wasn't a part of my path. I was like, I'll own a business one day, but I'll be in my 50s. I remember saying that. I said that to a girlfriend of mine. I said, yeah, if I become a business owner, it's when I'm in my 50s. I don't have any desire to do that now. I want to have a family. I want to have children. And I know that's going to require way more than what I can give it. So I was like, yeah, that's not even on my bingo card. Not even close. And y'all, I had girlfriends in my 20s that were starting businesses and doing the whole entrepreneurial thing. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Let me find me a husband to take care of me and so I can have some kids and sit at home with them. Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday. But yeah, we would go to these meetings and they would try to get me, to go into these, remember the pyramid schemes and all that craziness? They tried to get me to go into all that crap. I was like, no, I'm good. But this is the wake up call. This is the wake up call. Women have got to wake up. And look, this is what I'm going to tell you. Because the reality is you can choose whatever you want. right? This is not me trying to push you down a path of trad wife. This is not me trying to push you down the path of having kids, because you know what I've also come to terms with? There's a whole lot of people out here that don't have kids, and I'm glad, and don't want kids, and I'm glad, because y'all are the last people that should be having kids. So I'm actually glad, right? I'm actually happy that you've made the decision not to have kids, because there's a percentage of people now that shouldn't procreate. Y'all should not be procreating. You don't have the grit and the tenacity and the persistence in you to put out good people into the world. So I'm not mad at y'all. This is not to make y'all want to have kids and make you want to get married and have a trad wife life. No, this is not that at all. I simply want you to know about the consequences of your actions. Whatever you choose or don't choose, there will be consequences. And you can't say you didn't hear it from me, because somewhere in the off in the future, you're going to say, you know what? I watched this YouTube video of this crazy black lady, this crazy black auntie. And she was saying, look, you need to decide. And even if you don't decide, that is you deciding. And, you know, this could be your fate. This could be your fate. So choose well, choose wisely. Okay? But that loneliness hit different when you above 40. When you young and you fresh and you got, you know, the male gaze, and you got men looking upon you all the time and in your DMs, and y'all posting y'all thirst trap pictures and all. Yeah, it's hard not to feel lonely when you think you got a million men in your DMs that want to get with you. But be over 40. Don't have men's head turn as much, right? Men's head is not turning as much, especially if, you know, you're dressed normal, you're dressed average. So can I be real with y'all on here today? For me to attract the male gaze at this age, I'd have to go out half naked. That's what it would take. If I go out half naked, if I have everything I got out on display, I will get the male gaze. And remember, that's not love. That's not devotion. That's not marriage. That's not commitment. That's lust. That's all I will achieve by going out at 57 and being half dressed. I will simply get men's lust. Okay? So lust don't ever expire. Right? I could be 57, 67, 77. As long as my body holds up, like as long as my body looks good, my face card don't decline, lust will never expire. And look, I can sleep with men 21. I can sleep with men that are 80. But that is sleeping with them. That is giving them free sex. Free sex, remember, is like money. So if I stood on this corner right here and was giving out $100 bills, you'd have black, white, Asian, Hispanic, old, young, Republican, Democrat, like everybody love free money. Everybody would take $100 bill from me. That's what sex is like, ladies. And y'all think y'all be doing something when you 40 and 50 and you got a big old tail and you dress so that people can see your big old tail. Oh, I still get men. I said, baby, no, you don't. No, you don't. Let me just break it on down to you. You get lustful eyes. You get lustful eyes. Those men don't want to marry you. Those men don't want to be responsible for you. Those men don't want to cherish you and be devoted to you. You get lustful eyes. That's all you get. If you are over 40 and you dress the way I dress, so I am literally covered up from head to toe, nobody head is on a swivel for me. But see, I am okay with that. Like, I'm not in that season of my life. I'm in a grown woman season where I'm not checking for anybody. So if nobody's checking for me, okay. I'm about something totally different right now. It would surprise me, because don't get me wrong, do men speak? Do they approach? Are they kind? Sure, that always happens. And that's because I smile. That's because I give them eye contact, right? So a lot of it's my demeanor it's not a lustful thing or a, ooh, I still got it thing. It's a, wow, this woman's kind. Like, this woman's kind. She appears to be feminine. Like, wow, that's what that is. It's like a motherly, warm, kind thing. It's not a lustful thing because I'm completely covered up. I'm completely covered up. But in order for men's heads to be on a swivel for me, I would have to go out half naked. I would have to get all dolled up. I'd have to put on a long wig, and I'd have to go out, all dolled up, half naked. And sure, I would get men from 20 to 80 looking in my direction. But that's not real. That's not real. All right, I'm going to look at y'all's comments now that I park, and then I got to run into the dog treat store because I need some dog treats, y'all. Okay. She said, I agree 100%. Crazy American T-shirt says, some men envy that. Yep, she will really start mistreating the man if she has a higher education. Just make her mad and you see how she clowns him. See? And why don't y'all understand that? So I want you to understand something. When I met my husband, he was at Morehouse Medical School. I had a bachelor's degree. I was a school teacher. And that was a perfect alignment, right? That man was getting more education than me. He was going to have a better job than me. He was going to make more money than me. And he was going to be more educated than me. That was perfect. That was the perfect alignment, right? That I was like, I have a bachelor's degree. I went and got the bare bones minimum in order to get a license and get a job. That's it. Like, that's what and understand this. It's another thing women don't understand. Y'all attach y'all worth and value to your degrees. I don't give a darn about my degrees. I really don't. I really, really don't. My degree is a means to an end. It is a way for me to get licensed in the profession of my choice and to work and make money. The end. I never bring up my degree. I never talk about it. I never, like, that's not in the discussion at all. And years ago, when I was on dating apps and they asked you to decide what your level of education was, I was like, I either didn't put anything or I might put master's, but it was like, why does this matter? Right? I wouldn't put anything because I was like, why does this matter? Okay, he says, wow, I didn't know you made an appearance on Oprah. That was back in 2000. So I have a recording of it. I own a recording of it. So we got a recording of it and I still have it to this day. And the only reason why I can't post it is I have to blur out my ex-husband's face. So it's he and I on the Oprah show. I'd have to find a way to blur out his face and distort his voice because I can't put his image out there. So, but I have it. He said, is the video of you on Oprah on YouTube? No, it is not. I got a copy of it, but that doesn't even exist. That was literally 25 years ago. You sound like those ladies when you mock them. Great voiceover. Yeah. Like I said, y'all, it's just, this is what we call an accountability partner. Well, that's me all day. That's me all day. And look, you choose me to be your coach, you ready to do some work because I'm going to hurt your feelings. Like, you're going to leave that session like, God dang, Athena is like, I'm paying her to hurt my feelings. Like, but I am going to give you the truth. I am going to get you closer to the thing it is you say you want. So that's all you got to ask yourself. Do I want this? Do I want to be someone's wife? Do I want to have a husband? Do I want to have a family? You can't do that living in the land of delusion, not making hard choices, not realizing that life is about seasons and trade-offs. Why don't y'all understand this? But you go to another female coach or even a male coach that's pandering to you. Yeah, girl, you can have it all. Yeah, get as much education as you want. That's not going to hinder you at all. Why they tell that lie? Because like I said, I got a husband as a doctor when I had a bachelor's. Okay, I've since gotten more education. So, I mean, I'm just keeping it real. And, you know, it can either make a man feel away and then it can puff you up. Your pride get in the way. And then all of a sudden, he's not as good as me. If I dated a police officer, a fireman, someone who's a nurse, if I dated someone who worked at the post office or drove UPS or whatever, now you feeling away. Oh, I settled. I lowered myself to be with him. See, that's what women don't realize. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. She said, no lies told, women mothers have lost their natural affection. Oh, baby. The number one thing that did y'all in was the lack of humility. Once your humility just left the building, once your empathy and compassion left the building, it was a done deal. It was a done deal. It was over. That was your superpower. And now y'all walking around with your hand out, bringing absolutely nothing to the situation. The energy for most women is icky. It is downright yucky. It is a yucky, icky energy. And yet every time I talk to a man, it's like they can't put it into words. I'm like, it just don't feel good. Like, let's just be honest. Dealing with most women out here doesn't feel good. You don't leave that exchange feeling hopeful and excited and energized and like, oh my gosh, this woman is amazing. Like, that's the truth. He said, yep, the pyramid and Ponzi scheme. I definitely remember, just like Bernie Madoff. Yep, they tried to get me in that young. I was like, nah, I'm good. Brianne Nicole says a lot of young men don't even want to date anymore. Even women in their 20s are having a hard time getting married. Most guys in college aren't even thinking about marriage. You'd be surprised, though. There are college-educated men and men in grad school, especially if they come from good families. See, that's the difference. That's what y'all are not. Y'all, you got to look at the family. Because the family, I mean, like I said, some of these men that I dated when I was younger, their family was not going to allow no BS. Their family wanted their legacy to continue. They wanted their sons to marry good women, have kids, and continue their family lineage. So you really got to look at the family. That's what I keep telling young women. Stop dating these men from these broken homes, these single mother homes. And I mean, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I know that's most of them. I ain't even going to sit here and lie to you. That's most of them. But try to find men from two-parent families. Try to find men from good families that believe in family and have their life together and actually believe like, okay, we want this to continue. They're going to be in his ear. His church is in his ear. That's another thing. Y'all don't want to hear that. Y'all need to start dating men of faith. And I mean serious about their faith. And then look, this is what I do. If I date a man of faith and he try to have sex with me, I'm like, what are you doing? I admonish him. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Either you believe or you don't. Why are you sitting here trying to get laid? Like, I shame men. Like, you can't claim to be no Christian and trying to get laid. Either you want something real or you don't. Either you obey or you don't. So that's all. If a Christian man try to play you close, you just say, hey, what are you doing? You know, are you sincere about your faith or not? Okay, but thank you. He said, I like your jacket. Or maybe that's a lady. The fellas just want to do push-ups in it. They don't want to season vet. It doesn't matter what her anatomy is shaped like. Yeah, like I said, I could get the male gaze at 57 if I went out half naked. But what I look like doing that? Okay, an old fool. That's not going to happen. I am the age I am. I'm very proud of that. I've learned a lot in all these years. I actually have common sense. I consider myself to be an old soul. So even when I was in my 20s, I wasn't doing what average women did in their 20s because I just didn't get it. I was like, make it make sense. Why am I going to go out half dressed? I'm going to attract the lust of a bunch of men I don't want. Like, what is the point and purpose? And can we be honest, ladies? Be honest. Go into your DMs right now. 90% of the men in your DMs you don't want. See, and that's why I'm just like, I don't know what y'all are doing. Because I know I don't want those men. So why do I want to attract those men? Why do I want to attract a whole bunch of men I know I don't want? Make it make sense. People hate the truth because the truth sounds like hate. It does. It doesn't tickle their ears. The Bible tells us that we're in a season where, you know, people just want their ears tickled. They just want to be told what's going to make them feel good. And, you know, and it doesn't. It's It's a bitter pill going down. It really is. Like you say, they pander and don't want to hear the truth. Sad. Yep. Absolutely. That's today's rendition of hate. Yeah. Katia says, I call it evolution. Evolution of women and man. Women are masculine and men are feminine. Not all, but most. Yep. They've reversed roles. They have definitely reversed roles. And I don't deal with feminine men. I don't. It's not my job to turn you masculine. I mean, I'm a woman. So I tell a lot of men, like, hey, I want you to go and talk to a brother about this. I want you to go and get in a men's group. I want you to go and talk to a male therapist about this. Because no, I'm good. I'd rather not have a man than be the masculine one in the relationship. Because like I said, I'm going to be the girl regardless. Right now, as a single woman, I am living an amazing feminine life. Oh my God. It's just amazing, y'all. It is absolutely amazing. So what I look like trading that in to be with a man that's in his feminine, and now I have to be the masculine. I have to be stressed out. I have to be worried. I have to be planning everything, doing everything. Oh, no. I'm perfectly fine. She said, you're shaming men and women. I mean, I'm an equal opportunity offender. I'm telling you, I am. I'm going to come for you. Wrong is wrong and right is right. Everybody knows that I ride hard for the kingdom. I ride hard for righteousness. See, that's what make people mad about me. Because if you a man and you not righteous, I'm going to call you out. If you're a woman and you not righteous, I'm going to call you out. She said, we need to bring shame back. Anita, you are hilariously funny. Stop calling yourself old. You are the total package. Most women want to be, they'll never be ready. It is what it is. Okay, thank you. Thank you. She says, love that for you, Auntie Anita. Yeah, I'm living a beautifully feminine life. I really am. My bills are on auto pay. Like I don't have a whole lot of worries, y'all. I really don't. And look, my family around this time of year, they try to bring the foolishness. And look, all my cousins are like, yeah, let's send this cousin over to Anita, or let's send this person over to Anita, because like I said, they're going to get my logical, rational mind. You can't trigger me emotionally, right? They know I'm the one person that can't be triggered emotionally. I have some cousins that they start getting into their feelings and their emotions and things go left. But most of my cousins are like, nope, send them over to Anita. She's she's emotionless about this stuff. Like, because like I said, the feminine, I don't have no worries. I don't have no worries. My life is beautiful. My life is wonderful. And I got some new lilies. Y'all, why did I find I went to the store and found all these lilies were marked down. So they had all these lilies. The lilies hadn't opened. Like they were tight little buds. I bought all them lilies. So I got these lilies spread out all over my house. Y'all, when them buds pop open and it released that fragrance all over my house, y'all. So I am living in feminine paradise. Okay? I'm living in my feminine paradise right now. I got my beautiful lilies. I gifted myself with a beautiful lamp candle warmer. Y'all, that thing is on right now up in my room. So when I go home now and I step into my room, that room is filled with the beautiful fragrance of eucalyptus or lemons or any of the other beautiful scents that I love. I have my beautiful art on the wall. My room is meticulously decorated. My bed is made. Y'all, like this is my everyday life. And y'all want me to trade this in to become a man? Like, what? That ain't gonna happen. I'm a woman. Okay? And that's the person I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be a woman, y'all. Okay? And look, I cooked 3 days in a row. My kids was like, what's wrong with you? Because I haven't cooked 3 days in a row in a long time. But I felt like cooking. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna cook. So I cooked 3 days in a row. The first day, I made some beautiful lamb chops. And what I did was I scraped all that meat off the bone, and then I got some tzatziki sauce, and I got these Greek seasonings, And I got some, what's the bread? What is it called? The pita bread. I got the pita bread and the feta cheese. Y'all, I made these beautiful, like little sandwiches with ooh, it was good, y'all. And some couscous on the side. And then we had some cream spinach. Then the next day I felt like cooking again. I said, okay, I got some steak in here. So I had some steak in there, some chuck. And I said, okay, I'm going to put this chuck in here. I'm going to slow cook it for about 5 hours. I got some red onions. I got some yellow onions. I got some green peppers and red peppers. Then I got some mushrooms. What is it? The little fancy mushrooms. Y'all, I got all that. I smothered that over that steak and I put some au jus on it. And then I had some homemade mashed potatoes. And then we had some asparagus. When I tell y'all, 2 days, that was 2 days in a row. My kid's like, dang, mom feel like cooking today. Like, mom feel like cooking. Then here come the third day. So the third day I said, I'm going to keep it simple. I feel like having a good homemade burger. So I made some good homemade burgers with the butter blend seasoning. And we had them big old buns. So I made these big, huge burgers with the big old buns. I put some mozzarella and provolone cheese on mine. Then I took some of those mushrooms that had the little garlic sauce in it. I put that on my burger. Y'all, I cooked 3 days in a row. My kids was like, wow, you I don't know what's going on, but yeah, every day my son came home from work. He was like, what's happening? You done cooked again? That's my feminine world. Like, that's the feminine world that I live in. Home cooked meals, nutritious meals for my family. And look, we all sat down at the table. We ate together as we always do. What happened with you today? What happened at work? What happened in your world? That is the feminine. And that is what gives my life meaning. That's what gives my life purpose. Can we be honest? If I didn't have no husband, if I didn't have no kids, if I barely got friends and I'm this age, who am I cooking for? Sure, I can cook for me. It just don't hit the same. It don't hit the same. When people come to my home and they smell the smells and they see how clean it is and warm and inviting and the beautiful art and the beautiful things that I have in my home, and then that meal hit the table, baby, they like, ooh, this is paradise. Like, this is paradise right here. This is paradise. But guess what? These older women, they don't have nobody to do that for. They have nobody to do that. And it's sad. And I keep expressing to younger women, y'all hear my heart. That loneliness will hit different over the age of 40. Your parents are getting older. Your siblings are getting older. Your nieces and nephews are getting older. It hits different. And who's the emergency contact? Now you need an emergency contact. Now you need a ride to get the colonoscopy. You need a ride to get the colonoscopy. You need a ride for some other thing you got going on. Who's the ride? Nobody. It hits different. So I need you to understand you have to make good choices. Make good choices so that you have people in your life, people that care about you, people that love you. I can tell y'all right now, if I disappeared tomorrow, it'd be a whole lot of people going, what happened to you? What happened to you? What happened to you? What? My neighbors would physically come in my house. If my car don't leave my house, this is a true story, y'all. I have a neighbor, Miss Annette. She lives she's my next door neighbor. Miss Annette is an older black woman. She lives with her daughter, her grown daughter. If my car don't leave for 3 days, Miss Annette comes and uses her key and come in my house. What's happening? What's going on? Like, why is the car ain't moved? Yeah, she like, nah, maybe 2 days. Cause she like, nah, something ain't right. What's going on? Okay. And then my next door neighbor on this side, Joanne, same thing. Well, what's happening? What's going on? Are you all right? My mother, my kids. But it makes life worth living. People are what makes life worth living. It's wonderful to do wonderful things in your life. It really is. It is amazing to write books and have a practice and be on people's podcasts. Okay, that's something to do. That is not who I am. Like, it's hard to explain, y'all. It's really hard to explain, but it's just something I do. I don't make it, okay. Yeah, when people, oh, you get to do this and you get to do that and you get to go here and okay, it's something I do. But you gotta choose things that are going to give your life meaning and purpose. Things that let you know that you matter. You matter in this world. So even my platform, I'm doing this because I want to save whoever I can save. But young ladies, please, please make good decisions. If you are a woman, I'm going to round it up by saying this. So if you are truly a woman that's like, nope, Anita, I ain't thinking about that. I'm not thinking about that. Or there ain't no men out here to marry. Or, I'm going out and getting all this education. I don't want to have no kids. Okay. Like I said, I'm the last person that's going to demonize you for making that decision. And guess what? This is what true tolerance looks like. This is what the liberal people should be showing you. That whatever decision you make, if you want to be a trad wife, and look, do like me, I quit my job. I didn't have ne'er penny to my name for about 12 years. I let a man take care of me. I can tell you right now, the feminist is not going to like that. Because the first thing out of their mouth is, you need to have your own. You shouldn't rely on no man. Well, I sure did. And for the most part, he came through. So I must have made a good decision. So if you want to do that, or if you want to go off and say, nope, don't want no man, or ain't no men out here, can't get married, can't do this, can't do, okay, I want to travel the world, I want to go to brunch on Sunday and twerk on tables or whatever, okay. Anita is going to tell you, okay. But I want you to understand there are consequences to both of those choices. That's all. So if you show up in my office at 40, I'm going to say, yeah, this sounds like the consequences of your decision. And then you're going to get all in your feelings and, oh my God, why you saying it? Because that's the truth. Nan bread. Yeah. Okay. She said, I brought purple, pink, and yellow lilies. Lily's my favorite. That's my favorite, flower. Where's our plate? I haven't had lunch yet. Yeah. I just ate 2 Christmas cookies. Okay. She said, same, I'm a Southern belle in the West, California. I cook Sunday dinner every Sunday. We have many family traditions, and I love to serve my husband and family. See? Because like I said, that gives my life meaning and purpose. The fact that women do not want to cook for a man that they chose. Like, really think about that. This is a man that you chose. And I don't cook, and I don't wash his clothes, and I don't do this, and I don't do that. What? 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 You act like you hate the man. Y'all, I can't make this up. He said, yeah, I would cry. No, Anita, we all would be boo-hooing, and we've never even met. Thank you. Did you think it would be hard to get remarried after your divorce? A lot of divorced women I know hate dating. I'm going to be honest with you. I knew it was a possibility that I would never remarry. And my pastor actually told me that. So when we were doing couples therapy with my pastor and his wife, he actually told me that. And I remember he pulled me aside and he said, Anita, I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to answer. See, this is the difference between this newfangled generation and my generation. My generation, people ask you a question and they made you answer. They made you answer that question. There weren't no, I want both and I don't know. No, you're going to answer this question. So look, we're sitting in his chambers, in his little office. He said, Anita, I'm going to ask you a question and I want you to answer it. If you never had another man, if you never remarried, if you never had another relationship, he said, would you leave this marriage? And my answer was a resounding yes. So, yes, I will. So clearly I was made aware that that could be my fate. But that marriage was abusive. I saved that man's life by divorcing him. Okay? One of us was going to jail. One of us was going to the cemetery. So yeah, I knew that was a possibility. And here we are. So she said, thank you. She said, you've helped me so much. Thank you, Kia Katia. Thank you for all you do, Anita. We need counter messages to the Joy Taylors. Yeah, no, no. But like I said, though, she gonna be talking in her 50s and 60s about, yeah, I wish I had done something different. Yeah, I probably should have stayed in one of them marriages. Yeah, she gonna be singing a whole different song. The loneliness hits different after 40. It's hard to be lonely before 40. And then 40 come, and all of a sudden, these holidays, that New Year's Eve, it just hit different. Okay, it hits different. Okay, somebody has to say it. He said, people get jealous of you and others saying you get to do this and that, and you have to position yourself to be able to do great things and have leisure time to enjoy life. Thank you, he said, for all you do. Consequence is a hate word. It is. It is. Orchids are my favorite flower, mine too. I cook, I clean, I serve, I be a lady most of the time. That's right. But just know, whatever decision you make, there is something on the other side of it. This is what true tolerance looks like. Women come to me all the time. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, I'm going to do me, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to travel. Okay. Just talk to me in 10 years, 20 years, and be okay with the consequences. That's all. Don't be on here making TikTok videos like these women are making. You know, I'm 40 and I still know where my husband is. I feel like I've done all the right things. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. See, that's the hardest thing for you to realize is I effed up. I effed up somewhere along the way. I effed up. Because that's the video they make, y'all, where they tell you how good they are and how they've been feeling like they're doing all the right things, making all the right choices. No, you're not. You would be married. You would be married. You would have the thing you want if you made better decisions. You would have the thing you want because, you know, this is the hardest thing about me. I believe that people do what they want to do. I actually truly believe that. People do what they want to do. Even though my marriage ended, I still got married. I got 3 kids out of my marriage. See? Because that's what I wanted to do. Was it perfect? Did it work out perfectly? No, it did not. But Anita got married. Anita had 3 children. Anita experienced being a stay-at-home wife and mother. See? Because that's what I wanted to do. But there are plenty of women out here on the internet crying at 40, never married, no children, talking about that's what they wanted. No, it isn't. Because you would have chose that. And you would have chose a man to do it with. And whether you would have been married forever or the marriage lasted, I don't know, however long it lasted, at least you tried. But I have very little empathy for people who don't even do a thing that they claim they wanted to do so desperately. No, you don't. I have written a book. How many people have I talked to? I want to write a book. I want to be a published author. Then just do it. I mean, it's never been easier in history. You have Amazon, you have all these places that will publish your book. All you have to do is sit down and write a book. So, no, I'm sorry. This isn't the victim brigade over here. Like, we don't support the victim mentality. No. Okay? He said, yeah, true, because my ex-mother-in-law was the biggest interrogator on the planet back in the 90s. That's what I called a drill sergeant. My adult kids come back now and tell me she's the same now. Yeah, back in my day, you had to answer the question. What's the answer? A or B? You can't have both. Pick one. But now they let y'all get away with these dumb answers. I want both. I want both of those. I shouldn't have to choose. Oh my God. When y'all say some stupid stuff like, I shouldn't have to choose. Do you know how dumb you sound? I shouldn't have to choose. I want it all. Like, y'all sound dumb. Y'all sound dumb. And then, this is the worst part, people let y'all get away with it. They let y'all get away with this dumb stuff. I don't do that. You're not doing that over here. The fact that you won't choose, that's why you ain't getting what you want. So, no. Okay. He said voiceover on point. Oh, she said voiceover on point. Maybe not the same, but they feel it too. Yeah, I mean, we're all, like I said, we all out here struggling. I don't know why. Look, and the men, The men be talking about the women. The men are just as lonely. These over 40-year-old men are just as lonely. They know they want some homemade biscuits. They know they want some biscuits and gravy. They know they want some breakfast sandwiches. They know they want some homemade dressing and turkey and cranberry sauce. And they know they want some sweet potato pie. They know they want some yams. They know they want some homemade mashed potatoes and the giblet gravy. Like they suffering just as much as us. That's why I tell y'all, stop getting into these arguments with men. Who's doing worse? We all messed up. We all messed up. Okay? None of us are doing great. We all struggling. Okay? We're struggling out here. All right? I'm doing the best I can. I'm going to ask y'all to do the best y'all can. Okay? Do the best you can with what God has given to you. That's what I'm doing. I want y'all to do the same. Okay? That's all we can do. But what I'm warning women about is because we are relational beings, because we need people. And that's why whenever a wife comes to me about her relationship problems, I say, well, you're going to have to be the guardian of your relationship. What? Why I got to do it? Why can't he plan it? Why can't he do this? And why can't he read books? And why can't he plan for us to go on a marriage retreat? Because that's not in his nature. Like, can I be honest? You the one that want things to change. Like, technically, he fine. Like, they get so mad, y'all. They get so mad with me. Like, did she just say that? Yes. You the one that dragged him here. Do you know this man would be married to you to the day one of y'all die? Like, he think everything is fine. Like, he fine. But because it mattered to you, you have to take ownership. You have to be the guardian of the relationship. So, yeah, I don't have no problem with that. 9 times out of 10, the trips, the marriage retreat, the marriage counseling, the reading the books, the listening to a podcast, that's coming from Anita. Anita's the one doing all of that because I'm the one that it matters to. I am a relational being. The men are not as relational as us. They don't need the same things that we need. That's why y'all keep talking about emotional intelligence and I just need feelings and I just need him to talk about his feelings. Men don't need to do that. Like, men are doing just fine, not talking about their feelings. But y'all are the ones that want that. They need to be more vulnerable. They need it. That's y'all. That's y'all doing that. Okay? So you're going to have to take ownership. Because y'all have needs that men just don't have. They're like, I'm good, And then the needs that men have, y'all don't want to fulfill. You don't want to cook. You don't want to have sex with a man. Like, maybe you could get your needs met if you could meet him at his need. So, see, that's what y'all don't want to hear. But, y'all, life is about trade-offs. Life is about seasons. And you're going to have to decide. What's messing y'all up is a lot of you are either not deciding or you're going down a path that isn't going to give you what it is you say you want. I have a 40-year-old client. I've talked about this client before. Yeah, I do want to get married. I do want to have kids. And I'm thinking, you're 40 years old. For all we know, that window could be closed. And you done spent the last 40 years doing the exact opposite of what you claimed you wanted. No, you have to take ownership. Hey, that's my neighbor now. You have to take ownership. You have to take responsibility for your part in this. And y'all love talking about the no good man. Stop picking him. Stop picking the no good man. Ain't no good man on my radar. Please, I am living in this house in my feminine world, okay? Or I have a good man. But y'all letting all the wrong people into your world. And then you got to blame them. Oh, and these no good men and these men are crazy and treating me wrong and doing me wrong. Stop dealing with them. Stop dealing with them. Okay. All right. Let me just read these comments and I got to run in here, y'all. I got a 1 o'clock. She said their voiceover is on point. So true, but I choose peace. That's Mr. Whitaker 5. He says, so Mars, but the ladies don't or won't cook, shaking my head. Yeah, I don't understand. I do not understand, y'all. When I tell you there is a joy that comes over me when I sit down and eat my food. And when other people eat my food. Like it don't even hit the same when it's just me. Like when other people eat my food, I am just filled with the joy of the Lord. That's why I don't understand these women. What are these women doing? Miss Parker 46 said, I cook good. Peace, Dr. L. Right? Dr. L done joined us. At Mr. Whitaker 5. She's the same here, brother, because some of them will send a person to an early grave and they'll still be here clowning and claiming to the next person and bring them to an early demise. I choose peace too. I know. I don't blame y'all. I don't blame y'all. These women out here today, I got nothing. I got nothing, but I got to save the ones I can save. Dr. L said, no, we don't need all that. Thank you for saying so. No, y'all really don't. And I'll be glad. Like when I tell y'all, I'll be glad about how simple men are. What is it? It's the F. The F them, the feed them. It's another one. And shut the F up. It's like, so you got to F them, you got to feed them, and you got to shut the F up. Like the 3 Fs. I be so glad, y'all, that men are so simple. Because it makes my life easy. And I know I'm complicated. But I'm glad that men are simple. I'm glad that they're uncomplicated. That if I just do the 3 Fs, we good. They like, we good, Anita. He said the law of reciprocity. Yep. He said, big facts, I choose peace over it all because a lot of these women are dealing with so much and bring so much with them. So does us as men, but we try to be patient and work with them. Lincoln Paul says, need a good cooked meal. Yeah, that's me every day. That's me every day. Now today, I don't know. I may be eating leftovers because I don't think I took any meat out. See, I had taken meat out. Oh, no. I just remembered, y'all. Anita gonna cook again today. I just remembered I got some chicken thighs out. So let me tell y'all what I'm gonna do with these chicken thighs. You ready? So the chicken thighs, I like to make this rosemary chicken. It's like a pulled rosemary chicken. It's like a shredded rosemary chicken. So I like to take my chicken thighs and I wash them and I remove all the extra fat. And then I put the olive oil and I put the Celtic salt and the ground pepper. And then I put the rosemary, a little garlic, fresh garlic in there. And I put it under the skin and over the skin. I put a little paprika on it, right? And I let it sit for a couple of hours. So I'm gonna go in here now and do that. Just put all that in there and let it sit for a couple of hours. Then I put it in the oven at 400. I cook it for about 45, 50 minutes. I take it out and I just start shredding that bad boy up. I take it off the bone, but oh my God, the smell of it is amazing. The smell of it is amazing. So I think we're going to have that. We might have some scalloped potatoes. Or I might make some baked potatoes. And then I think I got some Brussels sprouts in there or some green beans. Okay, so I think I'm going to cook today. It's something about wintertime, y'all. Fall and winter. It just make me want to cook. It make me want to bake. I made an apple pie. Was it Sunday? I made an apple pie on Sunday. And it just make me want to cook and bake. So I don't know what y'all women on. What are y'all on? Make it make sense. And then you have the audacity to have a man and don't want to cook for him. Like, come on, make it make sense. I enjoy cooking like this for myself or for my family. Much less if I had a man. Like, I had a man. Y'all, get out of here. Get out of here. So, yeah, I don't understand it. I don't know what's happening with women today, but they have been indoctrinated. They've been brainwashed into thinking that cooking that amazing meal has made me less than. Like, I am oppressed because I made the rosemary chicken. Okay? The rosemary chicken has oppressed me. Like, I can't make this up, y'all. I cannot make this up. So this is the wake-up call. I want to inspire 18 to 30-year-old women. I do. I'm trying to break into that market because someone has to tell them the truth and say, look, whatever road you go down, whatever you choose, there's going to be consequences. Just think about it. That's all. Just think about it. Make sure that On the other side of that, on the other side of 40 or 50 or 60, you're actually living a life that you love. You feel fulfilled. You feel happy, right? You don't feel like you need to be on antidepressants. You don't feel anxious. You actually feel good about your life. That's all I want. And especially now, we have to help people live a more fulfilled, happy life because people are downright nihilistic. They are downright nihilistic. They have no hope. They have no hope. None. And you got 20-year-olds that they can't even imagine being my age. But if God willing, if God bless them, they will be my age. And I keep telling them that. It's like they can't see the future. There's no hope for them. No, if God blesses you like he's blessed me, you're going to make it to 57 and 67 and 77. Okay? So what is that life going to look like? I made pretty good choices. Can I be honest? I made pretty good choices. I made a good choice in what I chose to do for a career. I made a good choice in that, I got married. I had a level of stability. I had my children. I made a good choice in raising my children to be decent human beings. I don't have the problems that these other moms have. These moms, videotaping their kids, cussing them out and giving them the finger. I don't have those problems. Can I be honest? My kids aren't perfect, but they're not cussing me out. They're not giving me the finger. No, I don't have those problems. I made good choices as far as my finances. I own a home. I have 2 vehicles. I made pretty good choices. So I maintain my home. I don't know. I drink water. I take my supplements. I exercise every day. I'm making good choices. I'm making good choices as far as my health and my fitness. Make good choices. That is the message, please. Okay? Because if you don't, it's called sowing and reaping. If you make bad choices, there's going to be something on the other side of that. That's all. That's all. She said, I plan to live forever. Okay? It goes fast after a certain age. You're right. You're right. And for me, it was 40. 40 was kind of God dang. Y'all, it is, what's the day? The 25th of November? I remember January 1st. And today is November 25th. That's how fast it's going to go. And then I'm going to wake up and it's going to be 2026. So yeah, she said, I know that sounds crazy to some, but I made decent decisions and I take care of myself and I'm well taken care of. Good for you. Good for you. God-fearing, high standards and no part of this world. Same. I just have to live here. Look, and me and the Lord done already made a pact. Me and the Lord done already made a pact. He said, Anita, now you got to stay down there until I tell you. You got to stay down there. And look, he told me, you got to stay down there. You got to help as many people as you can get to me. You save as many souls as you can. You help as many people as you can. But until then, you got to stay down there. And I'm like, I don't want to be down here. I don't want to be down here, Lord. I don't want to. And he's like, no, you're going to live a really long time because I need people like you. I need foot soldiers down there. And you show them by your example. You show them by how you live. You show them by how happy you are. You show them by having meaning in your life and being happy and looking good and having money. Show them. Don't just tell them, show them. But you got to be down there to do it. Okay? I can't bring you back here. Not yet. Okay? And so I'm just obedient. I'm just obedient at this point. Which I wish a lot of other people were. I'm just obedient. I'm just doing what he tell me to do. And if he deliver a husband, if he deliver, somebody for me to go on this journey with, great. If he don't, that's good too. If he make me wealthier, great. If he don't, that's good too. But I want people to get to a place like this earlier in life. You don't have to be 57 to come to this realization. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't have any vices other than an occasional lottery ticket. I don't have no use for that no more. I don't. And I try to sell people on this lifestyle too. It's a tough sell. So, all right, y'all, I got to get in. I'm 2 minutes away from my session. Have a wonderful day. I appreciate you all. I really do. Especially those of you who rock with me, for real, for real. It gives me the hope. It gives me inspiration to keep doing what I'm doing. I want y'all to know that. Like, if it wasn't for y'all, I would have given up a long time ago. I really would have. I would have given up a long time ago. But because y'all rock with me and the people in my comments, the people who watch my content, y'all rock with me. I appreciate you. I really, really do. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great Thanksgiving. I'm going to continue to make content until the end of the month because I'll be on a break December 1st to the 31st. I will be on a break. I'll be taking a social media break, so I'm trying to continue to make content until then. Have a great Thanksgiving. I may make another video on Thanksgiving because I'll be here by myself. All right, happy Thanksgiving. Hey, all right, have a good day. And as always, stay open to love.